What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Solo Flat. Alright guys, so the random question of the day is, do you match your mod with your outfit? Do you go out of your way to pick a specific device to match whatever you're wearing that day? I know sometimes I do personally. I mean, I don't really necessarily intend to all the time, but you know what? I just might happen to be rocking a purple t-shirt or something like that, and I'll be rocking my full purple setups or whatever the case may be. But I want to hear from you guys out there. Just drop a comment right down there in the box below. So this one's called the Solo Flat by Vaptio, and I actually have a couple of these devices. This one here is still in its original wrapping, so I will be doing a giveaway for this thing at some point in the future. But with that, there's a little bit of a funny story behind these two. I actually agreed to do a video for a company called Health Cabin, so big shout out and thank you to Health Cabin for sending me one of these things for review. And as it was in transport from China to the United States, I went to the Vapor Expo UK and I picked one up from a company called Eco Vape. So once again, shout out to Eco Vape for them giving me one there. So I ended up with two of them, and therefore you guys win in the end because I will be giving one away at some point in time. So taking a look online, this device comes in 3 different colors for you to choose from. You have full black, black and gold, and black and silver. I have the black and gold one, although it does kind of look mostly silver, but in certain lighting conditions, it does have that little hint of that gold color to it. But this one is going to run you about $22, which I think is a very fair price for a device like this. A nice refillable pod system for 22 bucks is a really good deal if you ask me. And I'll put a link right down there in the description if you guys want to grab one for yourself. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got the Solo Flat in its original box, so let's quickly take a look around the packaging and then talk about what's inside. So first and foremost, a lovely bit of design here on this box. We have some spot gloss there on the picture of the device with a little embossed gold right there and there. Big old nicotine warning. On this side here we have a UPC and another big warning there. On this side here, we have our color indication, black, black and silver, black and gold. And right down there it says UK. I'm assuming this is the UK version because I actually picked this one up in the UK. So there you go. And on the back here, we have what the kit includes. Another bit of embossing right there, a little QR code, and the little scratch-off authentication thing, some warnings, and another big nicotine warning there on the back. So let's get right into it. Taking off a little sleeve, we have the device itself, of course, which we'll be taking a look at in just a second here. Putting that to the side, and we've got to get rid of that little plastic tray. We have a booklet style manual. Now this is one of the longest booklet style manuals. Kind of an interesting choice there, but yeah, several different languages, some color graphics, tiny printing, so it's not bad. Not the worst I've ever seen, but not the best, so no points off though. And as you can see, we've got a little thing about the coils. I mean, this thing doesn't necessarily use that style coil that's listed on there, but hey, you know what, same principles apply. And we have the, I'm guessing, warranty card. Yeah, we got the warranty card, little fold-out warranty card thing there with the QC check. We have an extra little pod. There we go. And of course, last but not least, the obligatory USB cable. A little bit on the cheaper side, but hey, you know what? It's all good. Alright guys, let's talk about the specs. First of all, the battery capacity is 650 milliamp hours. The charging time is up to or equal to 2 hours. Liquid capacity is 1.5 milliliters. The coil resistance is 1 ohm. Output wattage is 15 watts, and it has TPD package and standard package in black and silver, black and gold. Alright guys, so it's time for me to give you the rundown on the Solo Flat. So let's just start it off with this upper section here. And this is 2 pieces. You have the mouthpiece, as you can see here. They call this a duckbill shape because it kind of looks like a duckbill. And as you can see, my teeth marks. Yeah, I tend to chew on mine a little bit, especially in the car while I'm driving. Just kind of have it dangling from my lip, but that's kind of, yeah, it's my own fault, I suppose. So there you go, just be aware of that. Then you have the actual pod piece here, the upper part. You can see the bore and this little silicone plug, which you just move aside like that to fill. Pretty easy to fill if you've got a unicorn bottle or a needle tip bottle, but damn near impossible if you got a glass dripper. So just be aware of that and plan accordingly. And you can see the pod itself here. No issues with the pods, no leaking, no dry hits, nothing like that. Pretty easy to see your juice inside the pod there from this view, but we'll talk about that in just a second here. And on the bottom, you can see the little contacts there. This is an ambidextrous sort of pod system, so you can have it like that or like that. It does not matter. And you can see the little airflow right through the bottom there. Hopefully you guys can see that. There we go. You can see the airflow right there. Here we can see the battery side of the connection with the airflow right down the middle as well. And you can see these two little windows right there, which when you plug your pod in like that, you're supposed to be able to see your juice level, and it's pretty darn difficult to see your juice level in there. It's very, very dark, and no matter how much light I put on there, it's really impossible to see your juice level. So you're probably going to end up having to take your whole pod section out if you want to see that, but that's something to be aware of there. You can see the kind of chassis of the device itself has this little sharp kind of angle on it. It is rounded at the top, so it's kind of still comfortable to vape on. You have this big bar LED light right there, and the plastic tip right there. It says designed by Vaptio. I don't even know if you'll see that. There we go. Designed by Vaptio on that side there. And on this side, we have a little pointer to the charger. It says USB, and then it points to the USB plug right there. So that's pretty much it. That's really all you have to know about the Solo Flat. And let's just go back to the main screen, have a quick puff on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of the video. Now let's talk about my personal thoughts about this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off with the pros, my first pro is the battery life on this thing is excellent. 650 milliamp hour battery on this thing, which is absolutely unheard of in the world of pods. Most of the time with these stick-style pods, you're getting 200, 300, maybe 400. This one comes in at 650 and just blows away the competition. My second pro today is the pods last a very long time. These are refillable pods, and I've filled them up about a dozen times and they are still lasting me. So as far as I'm concerned, the pod life on this one could be about 3 weeks or so. I mean, obviously it depends on what juice you're using and how much you're actually using the device, but I'm going to say 2 to 3 weeks on a pod for this little guy here is pretty darn good. And for my third pro, the flavor that I'm getting is fantastic. Now, I'm quite surprised by the fact that this thing has such good flavor, because typically with a pod system, you don't really expect it to have over-the-top flavor. Well, this one here delivers on the flavor factor, and I gotta say, I'm absolutely loving it. And for my fourth and final pro, it's the price. You really can't go wrong for 22 bucks for this nice little pod system here. Flavor's good, battery life is good, pod life is good, really no major complaints. And as far as I'm concerned, there's a ton of value for your money with this one here. You get 2 pods in the box, and each of those is gonna last you a couple of weeks, so that is something that I really do appreciate. Alright guys, so moving on to the cons, my first con is that it's very difficult to see your juice level. Now, they put these little windows here on the side, and I find it damn near impossible to see your juice level with that. I mean, no matter what lighting condition we're talking about here, it's really difficult to see inside there. So I kind of wish they would have done something maybe on the actual drip tip piece here itself, maybe cut out a little triangle, something like that. That might have done the trick, but as far as I'm concerned, these little windows there on the side are completely useless. I can't see my juice level no matter what. My second con for this one is that it's a little bit long and big and heavy for a stick style pod system. Now, personally, what I would have liked to see them do is more of like a shorter, stouter kind of pod system like the Breeze or the iCare 2 or something like that, where it's just a little bit more spread out than the stick style here, because honestly, it just doesn't really work in my opinion. It reminds me a lot of the Sync by Vape Forward, and that one to me was way too big, and I think this this one just kind of falls right in that category. And my third con for this one is that it feels really cheap. Now, that's no surprise because it's only 22 bucks, so you really can't complain all that much, but it just has that really cheapy sort of feel. The plastic on it feels very, very cheap, and the metal feels really thin and weak. I feel like if I just squeeze this thing hard enough, I could probably crush it, but with that, for 22 bucks, I just really have a hard time complaining about that all that much. And for my fourth and final con, it's the two-piece pod. Now, you have to take off the actual pod section and then remove the mouthpiece in order to fill this thing, so that's one extra step between you and filling it with juice. What I would have liked to have seen them do is maybe a side plug here, something like that. That would have fixed my issue. And, you know, honestly, I want to see Vaptio kind of further develop this sort of system here. They could really do a good job with something a little bit more like the iCare 2 or the Aspire Breeze, something like that. I really want to see them come out with something like that because I think they'd kill it. So at the end of the day, is this device worth purchasing? Would I go out of my way to pick one of these up if I didn't get this one in for review? I'm going to say yes to this one. For 22 bucks. You really cannot go wrong with this thing here. I mean, comparing it to most other refillable pod systems on the market nowadays, that's still a bargain, and especially for the features that you get with this one here, a longer battery life, a longer pod life, and really nice flavor on it, you really just cannot beat that price. So as far as I'm concerned, that's definitely a good deal, and if you guys want to pick one up for yourself, I'll leave a link right down there in the description below. But that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to click that notification bell right next to the subscribe button if you want to be alerted whenever I upload videos. Also, leave me some comments in the box below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Solo Flat or anything else you guys want to discuss down there. Make sure you check out the advocacy and my social media links right down there in the description below. Check out my group on Facebook called Daily Vape TV Cloud Crew. We post hand checks and get advice from each other, and every 100 new members we get, we do a giveaway. So make sure you guys check that out. Link is right down there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on. Blah, 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 blah.